Hello guys, I'm making this tutorial to teach you how can we implement notifications in our chat app that we had made. And sorry, it took me a long time, to work on this playlist because I was myself learning uh, how to implement Firebase messaging service. So without a further ado, let's get right into the video and let's try to learn how to work with notification. And before that, I would like to show you a little bit demonstration that how it looks. So if we are here and I have two devices, and we can just see that okay, I am sending a message to Jason. So if we come here and we check here, Samuel has sent a message, hello. I can change the message. Hi, can you see this message? It's getting updated, and once we click on it, we are directed towards the Samuel activity. And if I want to reply on this, I would click this. Yes, I can. And you can see the reply is right here. And similarly, let's try to send a notification on this device. Hey Sam, how are you? If I click on here, so the message is there, but let me just, hey Sam, how are you? Let me send another message. Been wondering, where have you been? So this is being updated. So this is what, and if you see here, Jason is sending this message. So this is what we are trying to implement in here. Okay. And yeah, so let's just try to start from the beginning and what is happening. So I would like to show you this, that in other apps, like especially when it comes to the chat app, because you are sending a notification to another device. Okay. So you or sometime you are receiving the notification, but sometime if you have another app like a calendar app or like a reminder app, that you are sending notifications to yourself, so that you are not, like, you are the receiver. At the same time, that app that you have on your phone is sending you a notification to yourself. But Firebase Cloud Messaging is like gives you the control to send message to another device. Okay, not to your own device but to another device. And since we are working with the chat app, so therefore I'll just be talking about the chat app, that in chat app how can we use Firebase Cloud Messaging. So let's just create another folder and we can name this notifications. And I would be creating some like folders, and you can just follow along, and then I will try to also explain that what I have done. So we'll be creating data class, sender class. You might not understand why am I creating this, but once we are at the final leg of this tutorial, then you would be able to understand that why did I create these classes. Token, I'll explain what token is just in a minute. Firebase messaging, notification service, and Oreo notifications. So we are going to use Retrofit. It's a dependency that helps us to create a retrofit client, because this helps us to fetch data from the API. So this is pretty much self-explanatory that you need the dependencies of it. And after this gets synced, we'll head to our API service. So guys, this is like a usual, if you know Retrofit, these are the usual methods, like get and post. Post is used when you are posting something on the server, like you are writing something online somewhere. And in this case, like we are sending the data from one device to another device, okay, in a very simple language. And this is, you wouldn't touch, you would just like put it as it is. But here, after the key, you have to each, like wherever you have registered your Firebase, wherever you have registered your Firebase project, you have to go in there, and to be able to get this key, you have to go into the project settings. Each project, each user will have the unique, if you have linked your project with the Firebase, then you will have this unique key that you would have to copy and paste it in here. And this is the method that I have created, call. This is the usual method, and sender is the sender is the class that I have created. I'll come to that later, and this we will understand this at the very end, okay? But this is what we are doing. We are going to get the data from our device and put it on the server and send it to the next device, and Firebase cloud messaging is going to handle that. So no, I hope no confusion still here. Okay, so now we will create an retrofit client, and I'll just take the code from my project, because I just want to explain things and I don't want to write much. So we have created a retrofit client. This helps us to fetch the data from the server. Okay, what data are we talking about? We are talking about, we are going to send the body of the text, the title of the text, the icon of the app if you have any, and the user, who the one who is sending the message. So therefore, this sender is going to have data object, the sender class, and string. So we'll create a constructor. Okay, perfect. Now here is the token. So for the token, it's just the token. I'll just tell you in a bit after I'm writing this, that what is a token in this case. So guys, okay, here is the time. Okay, so what is the token? Each Firebase device is assigned a token. So there, let's say I was showing you two devices, okay? Two devices, and this is one device and this is one device. So each device is identified by Firebase cloud messaging by its token, okay? So let's say this is token A and this is token B. So each device would have its own token, and Firebase will distinguish, okay, I am receiving the token from this device, so I have to send the notification there. So that is token, and this is what we are going to use to fetch our, yeah, okay. So this is pretty much is done. And now what we will do is we will go to, you can go to your main activity, or like any activity, but I'm going to go to my user fragment, because this is the fragment where, like, after this I enter in a chat with someone, right? So you can say you are in your main activity, but since I'm using like my navigation graph and I wouldn't get into the terminology like how we got here, you can watch the previous tutorials. But anyways, this is kind of my main fragment. This is the first screen that I see after the login, so I would get the token here first. So I'll just name it token, okay, and I would just come in here. So where is the view created? Okay, Firebase instance. First of all, one thing I forgot is that before you do anything, or maybe yeah, you can do it right here. After copying that server key from and putting it into your API service, just come in here and add cloud messaging. Our app is already connected to the Firebase, so we'll just add this dependency. So Firebase instance ID, get instance, get instance ID, add on success. So there are, like, so many methods on internet, and it's like it is really difficult sometimes to get the token because some of the methods are decrypted. But I found a get around. You can come in here and disable this. Okay, yeah. So what you will do here is token is equal to instance get result get token. So you have got the token here, and now what you will do is save token. So now you are going to save this token into the Firestore, or if you are using real-time database, it's up to you. So I already have this collection because I was learning first, so I'll just delete this. Okay, so I'll just create this method, alt enter. Okay, perfect. So what I'll be doing here is I would be I would just like add a method where I am inserting, where I'm generating a token, okay? So our token has been generated here. Token is ready. And now what we will do, we will just save this token into the hash map string object hash map new hash map. You can name it whatever you like, but for the sake of, we can just take another variable here, maybe just take it inside. Or what I'll do is I'll just go and go below in here and bring this token into, instead of on view created, let's do it in on activity created method of the fragment here.
So it's in here, and what we'll do is string user ID Firebase auth get current user get UID, because we want to sort add set hash map. Okay, perfect. So what we'll do here is hash map put the key name is token, and we are going to pass token. So we have passed the token. Now this will, whenever like our app comes to the user fragment. Okay, okay. So whenever our app comes to the user fragment, this will like generate a token for us and store it in the Firebase. Okay, Firebase Firestore. Okay, so now our token is ready, and now we will be able to identify our devices. So how do we work forward with this? So first of all, we'll just extend it Firebase messaging service. Import class. Okay, and on message received. Now some, if you are going to have some trouble on the on how to get the token, then like some people are going to update their token here, which is recommended, but not really necessarily. So I'm just not going to bother. Okay, so this is what we needed, and now what we will do is we'll just add this to our manifest file. So this is where we have added our service, and we have to make some changes here. So I'll just leave it here for a while, and we have to add some intent or something, so let's not worry about it. But let me just first close all and go back to Firebase messaging service. And what we're going to do here is remote messages. Like remote message is the object like where whenever like the token is being identified and the request or the notification is sent to the server, this is where your data is stored. Get data, get sent, string user, remote message, get data, get user. I believe this is coming from here, user and sent from the data class. And we will get to this, like how is this is relevant into remote message. So just bear with me now. Firebase user, Firebase user, we can call this Firebase auth, get instance, get current user. If Firebase user is not null, if scented equals Firebase user, if I am the sender, let's say whoever is logged in is the sender, and if build version dot stk is Oreo, because I'll just tell you in a while. Send Oreo notification remote message object in here, else send a normal notification, send normal notification. Okay, so now here's the thing, guys. So I'll just like hold stop writing the code and I would just try to explain. So like notifications on API level, like before 24 till 24, or like before Oreo, okay, before Android Oreo, notifications were kind of easy, like because, but they didn't give you much control. So for example, if you like like if you have a LinkedIn app, and like from LinkedIn you want to like receive invitations and messages, but you don't want to receive who has commented on your photo. Or for example, in Facebook you just want notifications for like whoever is messaged you, but you don't want a notification who has liked or commented on your photo. So beyond Oreo, and also on Oreo, like Firebase and like the Android, it gives you the ability to create notification channels. So you can distinguish between the channel, and you have more control over like the apps, such as like you can disable certain notifications and you can enable certain notifications. That is why you can create each channel. So let's say you have 5 channels, one is very important, number 2 is not important. So all the notifications that you want to show to the user, you can put it in channel 1, and then you can put it in channel 2, the more insignificant ones. So this is where like you have to do a little extra work. That is why I have created a separate class for Oreo notification. So whenever like the message is being sent, the app will automatically check, okay, what kind of API level the device is holding, and then it would display the notification. For example, there are other like functions and like limitations that you wouldn't get if you're like if you are not Oreo, or like beyond Oreo, if you are behind Oreo version. So that is why like you have to create this special checks. Otherwise, and most of the time, like right now, like we all have latest devices, so I think we this step is very important. So that is why we have to do a little bit of a double work. But in case you have like an old device, then still our, our user will not miss the notification. So I'll just go to the Oreo notification first and extend this context wrapper. And what we'll do is, okay, we'll create a constructor, and this is just specially for our Oreo notifications. So we are giving our app a chance to check channel ID. In this one, I'm just creating one, like one channel, but you can have as many channel as you want. It depends on your like preference and depends on what you are trying to achieve. Notification manager. Okay, so now here we will perform a check once again. If build version SDK is equal or greater than build version code, will create channel. So if no, then just use the normal notification, and where user has a limited, either you can turn off or turn on, but you cannot be specifically controlling, okay, I want the messages and I don't want like the other crap notifications. So this is just that. Okay, then create a channel. So in that channel, what I'll do is I'll add an annotation because this is specifically for the Oreo and beyond. If you don't want notifications, you can like happily skip this tutorial because this is going to take a while since we are like doing some real stuff. So I'm just going to like copy paste these two things because I don't want to like take so much time into just writing this. Okay, so what is this? This is the channel ID. If we will open our app later, I think we should be able to see this specifically, and I think I have run this app before, so why don't we just go and check right now. Okay, so we'll just go to the settings, and yeah, if you see here, you have the specific controls where you can work on these, and this is because you have given it a channel name. Okay, this is because we have created a channel, and this is showing up here. The channel name is showing here. Okay, so that was it. So what I'll do, I'll just go back to like what we were doing. So that was just a little check. Okay, so this is what we have done is like we need lights and we need vibration and we need like visibility and everything. Like if it's on like screen, then the screen is logged, what should happen. And get manager is just like notification service that you want. And now the real thing, we'll just create a method. So what did I do? Don't get intimidated. So sometimes you can do notification dot builder, but some things that you want to implement, you need to use compat dot builder. Okay, that's the simplest explanation because sometimes, let's say, action is something that okay, I'll just try to explain you right away. So action is something, this button. So sometime this button is not coming with notification dot builder, so you have to use the compact version. And that is why like sometime like that is why we need to like use a compact builder here. So it depends on your need on what you are trying to do, but you can be creative. And if you are new to Java, I would say notificate if there is notification compact, then obviously it should return notification compact. What is this? Intent. This is intent, simply like you are going from one activity or one fragment to another fragment. Title is title, sound, and all that. But this is not the real notification. Like, this is just a helper method that we have created. We are going to use this class into our Firebase messaging, and then we will set the values to these stuff. Okay, so let me just close this. Okay, that's great. And now we'll go back to Firebase messaging. So I'm here in Oreo notifications. First we will work with the Oreo notifications. And so what is happening in Firebase messaging class, we will create a method. Okay, so string user remote message get data get user. I'll pause the video here and I'll just like write all this so I can explain later. So what I have done here is I have I have used my old project's code, and I'll just explain one by one what is happening here. So we are getting this data from the remote source because first of all, we will in this data class we will store our like message and notification whatever that is, and that will send it to the Firebase cloud messaging server, and over there in remote messaging it would be stored, and then remote message will help us get back that data. And this is the bundle that we are going to send the friend ID, because once we click on the user, like okay, we want to know like okay, who is the user that we entered the chat with. So I would just like store this value so I can use this somewhere else. If I want to, I will use this in notification service, but just bear with me. So this is just the usual Java easy stuff that I'm storing this value to send it. Okay, now URI like default sound. And why are we getting these values? Because we have to pass these values here at the end of the same method that we had created. Into here we need an action, we need a title, we need a body, we need an intent, we need a sound, and we need an icon. So that is why like we are getting these values one by one, and we are going to store all of them in here. Okay. Okay. And at the very end, Oreo notification get notify manager. And what is this? This is the value that is like, that our notification will be identified with. So, next time when a notification shows up, we are giving it a value from here that, okay, update this notification, do not touch other notifications. This is what is basically doing. Okay. So this is giving me an error. I have to add this. So we'll just add and like go. Okay, we'll just go in drawables and add. Sorry, just go to the vector assets. Okay, so the reply is added. Okay, so this is it. Now what is this? I have stored this value, so like there is one more thing is happening. So notification action, this we understand is taking us to click and get to the fragment. Okay, this is taking us to the fragment. Okay, and this is helping us to when we can reply to message in notification. So this is what it's doing for us, the action. Okay, so I have stored this and I will use this later in the notification service file, and you would see what I am doing. Okay, so for the normal one I will also like just take my old code, and here I have to change some things because in the past I didn't use. So intent is no longer needed because we are working with fragments, and so okay here, and I would just get some code from here because some code will be familiar. Okay, and friend ID is stored, but this one we can store again, I guess. Okay, so yeah, and if you notice like later you can pause the video and see I'm not using Oreo notification in this Oreo like class, because we don't need this in this one.
because this is a normal notification and there is no channel involved or anything. Okay, so this is it. And now like what happens like once we click on our like we want to create the reply. I'm not testing the app right away, but I'm just going to like implement the logic first of all. So whenever like you see the email, like in email you can reply and all that, you are working basically with the broadcast receiver. And if I can take you here back to my Firebase messaging, then it would show you that I have already written a code that takes us to the that accesses the this is where it is, get broadcast. So see, get broadcast. So this takes us to our broadcast receiver. And how do we do this? We go back to our notification service, and when this bubble pops up, we add this to our manifest file because this receives. So what we'll do is we'll just go and write a code right away to for us to be able to receive notification manager, notification manager, context, get system services, context notification. Okay, so what am I doing here? Bundle remote input. I will try not to copy paste code into this so I can explain what is happening. Remote input get results from intent. Let's add an annotation because of the API. If remote input is not null, string reply text, remote input get string, key text reply. And I will just stop writing the code for a while and I will tell you where did this come from. So guys, if you go to Firebase messaging and you go to our this remote input, we are sending something, and the key is this, to our broadcast receiver, right? So this is coming here, and that is why whatever is written in our notification message that we have typed is getting stored in here, and that is why we are getting that. Okay, and intent is helping us to receive that. So Firebase auth, Firebase auth, Firebase auth get instance, string user ID, Firebase auth get current user get UID. Now we want to get the friend ID because, for example, we are sending this message to JSON. So we don't want to store it anywhere, right? We want to store it with JSON, right? That okay, we are like replying to JSON. So that is why we need like friend ID and who is the sender, who are we sending to, and all that. Okay, what we have here, like I'll just try to elaborate it a little more. So if you go to our model class, this is fetching the messages, right? This is displaying the messages. So what we need a message, we need a time, we need a receiver, we need a sender. So here, who are we sending to? We are sending to our friend. And from where do we get that friend ID? This is the reason I had stored the friend ID here in my shared preferences. So this is the friend. Okay, this is done. And who is sending? I am sending. So I am the user. And what is the message? Message is here. So this is similar to the send message method that we have in our chat fragment. But this is another way that we are going to update the same message in a same way that we send a message in the chat. Like if I go back in here, so let me just go back. Okay, so if I'm sending a message here, then obviously I'm like using this message model and I'm just adding simply a document into the Firestore. So what about once I reply from this? I have to follow the same approach. That is why I have to get this stuff. Shared preferences, context, get shared preferences, prefs, context. Let's just mm, let me just get it from here. It's bothering me. Oh wow, fuck. Sorry guys. Okay, okay, perfect. So we have stored the receiver, whoever the receiver is, and receiver's key was friend ID, and the default value could be anything. So what we do here is and also we take, because we have to pass the time, because that's what we have done. So the reason is like, if I don't pass, let's say I only pass reply, then here in our view model, when we are displaying the messages, we have a certain condition here, right? In our message repository, that okay, the sender ID and friend ID is like, has to be one of it has to be equals to the user, right? So then it should display, otherwise the messages will be displayed everywhere in every chat room. So that is why we identified with the unique like representation. That is why we have to pass all whatever that we have passed while sending a message. Same thing for the notification. So let's just create an instance for Firebase Firestore also. Okay, so it will just simply store our message, but there is one more thing, that once the message is stored, we have to tell our notification to update the message, because it will not update the message. The circular indicator here, it will just be like, moving in here. It will not like go away, and the no the message will not be like, okay, message is sent. So we have to add that too. And how do we do that? We have to update the notification. So therefore I have stored the ID, or like you can say the integer number of the notification. So we are passing this into our notification service, so it knows, okay, this is the notification that I have to update. So therefore I'll just go back and get it. So this is notification manager that we have to update with. Okay, okay, perfect. So what this is doing is just getting the ID or whatever of the notification, that okay, this identifies, this is the notification where the user has replied, so kindly update it. Now let's head to our manifest file, and we have to add one thing here, and then we will head to our chat fragment, where there we will do a little work, and I think then we will be done with this. So we have to add this, an intent filter within the service tags and come here, export it true, enabled true. Okay, that's all. And please note the spelling of this one, so this has to be here, and don't forget to add your receiver here, and you are done here. So we'll just close all, and what I'll do is I will go to chat fragment now, because this is where the magic starts. And I will take some strings because we need them, and a boolean. So let's just take a string, call it token. Let's take a string user ID for token, and API service, and a boolean, call it notify, initialize it false, string name of sender. Okay, so first of all, there is this mistake that you just take this username away, and once you come in here, string username, I'll tell you later why I did that, or maybe I can tell you right now. It's like whatever the user that you are clicking on, the key is in the Firestore, you can verify later. From there on, you are like setting the name of the user. Okay, that's pretty much it for that. Okay, so let's get right to work. Now what we are going to do is, this is our send message method. So whenever this is clicked, notify true, the boolean, and what is going to happen here? In send message method, we just go and expand it a little bit so we have more space. Firestore collection, users, document user ID, get add on success listener, on success snapshot. We want to, let me just friend ID and name of sender and message. So how do we know who is sending the message? So therefore, just to tell, because this is a chat fragment, don't forget, like in chat fragment, once you come in here, okay, I'll just try to demonstrate it. So let's say, like, if you are on the user fragment, you can get the name, okay, yeah, Samuel is logged in. But once you come here, it is very hard for you to get who is the logged in user. Now you can see, okay, who are you chatting with? So this is the friend, but not the user. So just to, get the name in the notification that, okay, new message from Sam, you have to do this step. Or you can just store in the user fragment, you can just store shared preferences, and you can store the name, and like, just, you don't have to do this, but just add the send notification. But I have done this way. So what we'll do is user model document snapshot to object user model class name of sender user model get username. So we have set the username, and now friend ID we are getting from this method and message from this method, because here I think from here things will fall into perspective. So what is happening? And if notify is true because we have set it to true, then send notification
otherwise false. Okay, so let's just work in this method now. User ID for token. So whose token do we want? Like the one who is logged in. That is why we have taken a separate. If you come in here, and right now I have not run my app, but all the tokens will be stored with their user IDs. So that is why we have to get that. Firestore collection tokens document friend ID add snapshot listener event. Okay, so let me just verify in the user fragment. You should run your app from time to time, but I don't have that much time, and still this tutorial is taking 1 hour. But yeah, let's just verify. Okay, okay, yeah. Let's go back to our chat fragment. So yeah, whoever the friend is, we want the token of that person. Okay, so assert value is not null token. This is the class that we had created. Token value to object token dot class, and token our okay use wait object token. So I think we had taken object token get token. So now we have stored this token into here. And now in the start, when you were wondering like what is this data, so here we are going to store our values that we have gotten. So data new data user ID. So this is the sender. If you come in here, you would see, let me just go back in there. This is whoever is sending, user whoever is receiving, body is body, and title is the title. Okay, good. Message, new message from name of sender and friend ID. Okay, now if you were seeing in the earlier like sender, we passed whole data class in here. And what is this? This is going to store our data into the Firebase Cloud message server, and we are using API and remote message to fetch that back. But in this one, we are posting the data on the server. So Retrofit is helping us to save the message, save the notification on the server of Firebase, and then remote message from here is going to get that for us. So this is the reason it has post in here. This is not get. If we are getting the data from, if we want a data from like any server, then we use get annotation. But we are posting on server, writing on server. Like when you write a tweet, so you are writing something on the Twitter server, right? So you are using post annotation in that case. Okay, so let's move forward. Sender, this is our class sender is taking whole data object, so data is taken there, and token. And here what we will do is, so one thing is that needs to be done here is in here on view created API service and client get retrofit https fcm google apis.com. Client get retrofit https fcm.googleapis.com dot create, with which class create API service dot class. Okay, so we'll just go back down here what we were doing before. API service send notification sender. And how did we get this? We come here, it is taking a whole sender object right inside it, and we are using this. So now I hope you understand. Sender enqueue new callback response. Okay, if response code is, code means like each code, like let's say 404, if you are trying to access some website and you are saying 404 error. So these are the codes, like there are certain codes that are for success and certain codes that are for failure. Response code body is not equal to 1. Okay, so one mistake, it has to be here public. Okay, yeah, then toast failed to send notification. And that's all, guys. I think our notification should work. So let's just rerun the apps, or if I were you, I would just like reinstall the apps, uninstall and reinstall. But let's just try to work with it, see right now like what happens. So if it everything is working well, then it should create a new collection for tokens. And then I have told you what we are doing. I would just try to reiterate once the app is up and running. So let's just get it here, and here's my second one. Okay, so our one emulator is back, and if I refresh this, if everything is working well, then it should create a token for this device. Yeah, so it does create a token. That is the ID, and this is the unique token. And if I will see, okay, yeah, this is working too. So I would just go to Samuel, because Samuel is logged in here, and I would try to send a message and see what happens. Mm, the keyboard seems not to be working for some reason. Okay, so let's just try to type a message. Yeah. Oh wow. First attempt and it's working. So this is showing
hi who from Jason will send a reply, hello. You see, it saw the progress bar and it sent the message. If I didn't updated it, I told you where I was updating it if you were listening carefully. Here I was updating it. I had updated the notification. It won't go away. It would just keep on updating the notification. So I'll just do the last test and then I would just reiterate for you what I have done in 1 hour. And now this is saying reply received. So we'll just clear all and I would reply here. Okay, so this is where I'm getting this we already tested. Let's test another device. Yeah, it's here. Let's send another message. It's getting here and let's just reply. Okay. Okay, so for the last test, how about we send another notification and see if the click works. So I have sent a notification and I would just go to the home and I would pull down so now it should take us to Samuel. So it is taking us to Samuel, okay? So that's it, guys. This is one of the greatest joys of my life, to be able to make this running. And yeah, so what I can do, tell you a little bit, like a little bit of a reiteration, and then I would tell you a little bit of more stuff, maybe just 5 minutes more. So what is happening here. First of all, we are going to like register our app obviously on Firebase, and then we are going to get the server key, and then we are going to use Retrofit to post, like send the notification onto the server of the Firebase. We are going to write our all the title and everything of the message of the notification, and then Firebase messaging is going to help us to retrieve that remote message, and the Oreo notification is going to give us more control over the notifications. Remote input is something that we already talked about, that is it is going to like reply, like we want to reply on the notifications, and for that we need a broadcast service, and all these files needs to be added to the manifest file. And one last thing, just to like this tutorial is done, but let's say like you are having some trouble and you are figuring out maybe the token is not right or something. So let's say if you already have created a token, what I would want you to do is copy this token and come in here, analytics, or in extensions. Okay, yeah, if you like go up, if you go up more in engage, you would find cloud messaging. And here if you want to test, like okay, I have written the code but it's not working, so you would have to like do a test, and here you would like just type a random message just to do the test if your device is okay. So you can paste your token here. Sorry, the token did not get copied, and you can paste your token here and test it. So you would see that okay, yeah, my device token is right, maybe I'm doing mistake in some other code. Okay, so this was the great tutorial, guys, and I have already updated this code into the like my GitHub repository, so you can go there and download or whatever that you want to do. And if you have any questions, you can always check with me. For now, I'll be signing off, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you, guys.